Why did NASA spend billions sending a probe to crash into Jupiter, but never mention the word landing? Why do we gaze at the colorful clouds we've admired for decades, behind which lies a violent ocean capable of grinding titanium to dust? Why is this gas giant, which can easily hold 1,300 Earths, referred to by astronomers as the universe's most dangerous predator? Those colorful stripes, dancing in the dark, look like brushstrokes of a cosmic artwork, luring us from the void like a bright red temptation, like the eye of an eternal watch system. But don't be deceived. What appears to be an oil painting from afar is actually an absolutely violent ocean, a planetary scale shredder ready to destroy any trace of matter that approaches it. From a distance, it is the jewel of the solar system. Up close, it is hell itself disguised as clouds. Forget about landing. There is nowhere to land on Jupiter. The ground as we know it does not exist. We are faced with such a massive gas giant. Its belly can easily hold 1,300 Earths. What we are about to witness is not a routine exploration mission, but a suicidal plunge into the belly of the giant. Our probe has just broken through Jupiter's outer layer, and the final descent into death has officially begun. From this moment on, familiar physical laws are no longer allies but executioners. There is no turning back, only free fall into the infinite abyss. What awaits us is a scorching wave that devours everything. With relentless high pressure, the spacecraft begins to shake violently. This is not the slight turbulence of a plane flying through clouds, but dry, rhythmic impacts that constantly remind you that you've entered a realm of completely distorted material rules. Passing through the invisible boundary of the outer layer, the dead weight of space is left behind. The sharp whistle transforms into a deafening roar. We officially step into Jupiter's violent atmosphere, greeted first by an extreme cold that challenges human logic. At a distance of several thousand kilometers from the so-called surface, the temperature drops to -150 degrees Celsius, making the hardest steel as brittle as glass. The first layers of clouds crashing into the hull are not water vapor, but deadly hail composed of frozen ammonia crystals, moving so fast that a Category 5 hurricane on Earth feels like a gentle spring breeze. These dark clouds are those beautiful white stripes in NASA's photos, but being inside them feels like being thrown into a blender filled with liquid bullets as the probe is battered by supersonic winds at 600 kilometers per hour. It shakes violently. This is Jupiter roaring. Get out of my territory. Through the window, a pale-toned nightmare is visible, with a sickly white mixed with the deep, surging flow of red-brown compounds, resembling this planet's boiling thick blood in an invisible pressure cooker. But don't forget, this is just Jupiter's welcoming. The real terror lurks in places you cannot see, but the probe's alarms have already shattered the sky. That is radiation. Jupiter has the strongest magnetic field in the solar system, like a particle accelerator the size of a planet, accelerating charged particles to near the speed of light, turning them into trillions of microbullets that violently collide with the hull. The probe's circuits begin to fail, the screen flickers wildly, and the sensors are filled with static. The way the hull's metal charges is something you wouldn't dare imagine on Earth. Jupiter seems to want to blind your eyes and fry your brain before slowly dealing with you. Suddenly, the darkness of the clouds is torn apart by a flash of light. In an instant, it blinds your eyes. This is not ordinary lightning on Earth. Here, the lightning is thousands of times more powerful than what humanity has recorded, capable of instantly vaporizing a city. These lightning bolts form in water and ammonia, traveling through the atmosphere with electrical energy. What follows is not a rumbling thunder, but shockwaves capable of shattering the screws of the hull. The dense gas makes the sound hit your chest like a heavy hammer. The deeper you go, the more bizarre the sunlight becomes, shifting from familiar gold into a sickly yellow. The blue sky completely disappears, replaced by dirty traces and thousands of hues, like an inverted pot trapping you tightly. The fear of confinement instantly overwhelms you, and the concepts of up and down become completely ineffective. There is only one direction, falling toward the giant's core, while the turbulence intensifies. We are diving headfirst into the entrails of Jupiter. The air begins to thicken like gel. For every kilometer, the probe descends, the gas density skyrockets. Even with the engines at full throttle, it's futile. Here, the chemical laws of Jupiter reign supreme. The blue sky gradually gives way to sulfurous clouds. The brownish clouds smell like rotten eggs, mixed with deadly chemicals. The probe's metal shell starts to creak under pressure, a metallic wail of being squeezed and stretched. After all, it was designed to withstand the vacuum of space, but not Jupiter's excesses. Excess mass, excess winds, excess energy. The navigation system has gone completely haywire. Here, GPS is a joke. No satellites, no reference points, only an abyss that devours everything. Radiation has already penetrated the outer armor. If there was someone on board, their mouth would be filled with a metallic taste. This is a death warning from cells being bombarded by high-energy particles. The central computer starts calculating errors. The bitrate is inverted under ion impact. The probe is scratching at death, while its physical body is being ruthlessly battered by Jupiter's atmosphere. We just passed through the tropopause. Looking up, we can't see space, only a turbulent rolling cloud ceiling. Below is heavy darkness, a restlessness of energy accumulated over billions of years. Yes, Jupiter is a failed star. It failed to ignite itself and turned its burning desire into deadly gases and electric traps. The pressure continues to rise, no longer measurable in pascals or Earth atmospheric pressure. The sound of the wind shifts from a roar to a piercing wave, resonating in your chest. Water clouds have appeared, but not soft fluffy clouds. Instead, they are steam ice walls, extending for hundreds of kilometers. This is why lightning never stops. The sky is always flashing. Millisecond lightning illuminates the true scale of the storm. We are in a hurricane larger than the entire Earth, and the probe is just a speck of dust in its eye. Suddenly, the probe rolls violently. A cold gas descending like a chimney grips us tightly, and the descent speed doubles in an instant. We are no longer falling, but being dragged hard to the bottom of the atmospheric ocean. Heat begins to rise slowly, but steadily. We have finally escaped the extreme cold of the upper layers, and entered the area where Jupiter's own weight compresses and generates heat. The first phase of survival challenges is over. We have endured winds of 600 kilometers per hour, lightning that can evaporate cities, and radiation that burns chips. But the next test will make all this seem like child's play. We are about to enter a transition zone where light completely disappears. The pressure is so great, it could crush an aircraft carrier like a soda can. Jupiter's embrace is tightening. We have just stepped into the threshold of its nightmare palace. If you were the designer of this probe, what data would you want it to transmit at the last moment? Let's discuss your crazy ideas in the comments. The light has completely surrendered. As we sink into Jupiter's middle layer, the golden sun that has accompanied humanity for a lifetime first becomes a blurred spot of light and then completely disappears into darkness. We have fallen into absolute darkness. This darkness has weight, pressing down on your heart like 1,000 blocks. You are now in the throat of a giant, which does not want you to see a way out. The temperature that froze your bones just minutes ago begins to reverse. The probe's thermometer, if it hasn't gone mad from radiation, shows the temperature continuously rising from -150 degrees Celsius, briefly jumping close to human habitable temperatures. But don't be foolish, this is not a respite. It's a signal of gas being compressed and generating heat. Soon, the temperature will soar to industrial furnace levels. Every few kilometers we descend, the temperature skyrockets by several hundred degrees. Here, the solid liquid gas states of Earth are a joke. As pressure breaks through the limits of human understanding, light begins to exhibit extreme states only seen in laboratories. We have entered the realm of superfluidity. It is neither gas nor liquid, but a dense, hot, opaque soup, possessing the flow of gas and the density of liquid, as if swimming in a boiling sea of mercury, with titanic forces all around. The pressure squeezing you is already equivalent to that at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. But the terrifying thing is that the Earth's trench only has an 11-kilometer water column. Here is a column of gas thousands of kilometers long, and we are still far from the bottom. The alloy shell of the probe begins to emit a chilling groan, a wail of metal atoms being pressed to their limit. Each square centimeter bears the weight of several elephants. The anchor bolts, Sweat Phoenix and Cargo Bay are under relentless attack. The walls begin to slowly cave in, making it hard to breathe. The probe is being digested by Jupiter, with superether gas squeezing into the instrument chamber, short-circuiting the remaining active components. The computer alarms have become meaningless. The structure is about to fail. Overheating, pressure ether, these terms all say the same thing. We are transforming from an independent object into a part of Jupiter's mass. Imagine how it feels inside the capsule, as it shrinks millimeter by millimeter. The temperature breaks through 500 degrees Celsius, then 1,000 degrees. The air we breathe is filled with resonant vibrations from Jupiter's atmosphere. This planet is a giant heat engine, and we are falling into its combustion chamber. Here, the concept of falling has changed. The environmental density is too high. The probe no longer falls like a stone, but sinks like fur into a thick sea of mud. Every meter down is a dead weight of Jupiter's gravity and its own density. We are merely collateral victims. The metal of the hull begins to deform plastically, bending instead of breaking, flowing instead of cracking. The probe has become a soda can crumpled by an invisible hand. Everything we carry is collapsing at the molecular level. Plastics are decomposing. Camera lenses are melting and sticking together, and the fuel tank is compressed and ruptured. But there is no Earth-like explosion. There isn't even space for the debris to fly out. Only a silent implosion. Fragments cling to the remaining structure like digested food residue. We continue to fall into the unknown depths. What lies below? Darkness, thick as solid matter. The surrounding gas is baked into a deadly red glow by the high temperature. It is not flames, it is the light emitted by the heat itself. The light here does not come from the sun, but from the body temperature of Jupiter's hell. A ghostly red light illuminates the distorted shell of the probe, telling us that the road has come to an end. Even with the most powerful engines, there is no turning back. We are being pulled tightly toward the core by descending air currents, toward a region where matter is completely distorted. The pressure has already surpassed impossible limits. We are about to leave the superether fluid and enter Jupiter's greatest mystery, the metallic azure ocean. Welcome to the nightmare core of Jupiter. Here, the pressure is so great that the blue gas used to fill balloons on Earth is forced to abandon its gaseous identity. Electrons separate from atomic nuclei, transforming into a sea of liquid hydrogen without silver, flowing like molten metal, conducting electricity. Imagine falling into the interior of a generator the size of a world. The current here stretches for thousands of kilometers, creating Jupiter's terrifying magnetic field. The temperature reaches between 20,000 and 30,000 degrees, hotter than the surface of the sun. Titanium, steel, gold, not only melting but also disintegrating at the atomic level, completely mixing with the metallic azure, becoming an impurity in this ocean. Here, whether biological or mechanical, the journey has come to an end. There is no spectacular explosion, only complete dissolution. Jupiter does not destroy you, it absorbs you. We continue to fall toward the solid core speculated by scientists. But this is not Earth's rocky core. It is a sphere composed of exotic ice and heavy metals compressed by millions of atmospheres. The diamond may be liquid. Gravity is so strong that time seems to stop. At the center of everything, the journey of no return is complete. No traces of the mission, no radio signals, even the evidence of our past existence has been erased. The silence of Jupiter's core is completely different from the dead silence of space. Space is an empty silence, while here is a saturated silence. The sound of billions of tons of gas compressing at the center, the absolute tranquility of a planetary graveyard. Everything we once had. Years of design, billions invested, now just atoms lost in a sea of liquid metal. In the end, Jupiter gave humanity a cosmic lesson in humility. In the face of nature's pseudo-power, our fragility is vulnerable. The so-called top technology is just a child's toy. The colorful gem in that telescope turns out to be a perfect predator, luring you with beauty, crushing your curiosity with violence. In its domain, physics becomes a terrifying poem. Matter completely succumbs to gravity. Looking back from our solid blue Earth, Jupiter is still a bright star in the night sky. But now we know the truth. Beneath those colorful clouds lies a merciless hell. This giant not only watches us, but opens its arms, waiting to make us a part of its eternal mass. This journey of no return through Jupiter's atmosphere is not just a space mission, but a warning from the universe that there are places we are simply not invited to. In the grand scheme of the universe, we are but a brief flash in the darkness. Jupiter is still there, spinning its eternal dance, hiding secrets with gas, pressure, and flames. Perhaps in the future, we will send probes again, try once more, but the outcome will be the same. Jupiter will always have the final word, always welcoming us with an overwhelming embrace, forever dissolving us in its sea of metal, forever reminding us that some boundaries can be crossed by humanity, but we can never return to tell the tale. Darkness closes in, pressure remains constant, heat becomes an eternal constant. The journey ends, the invader is completely erased, leaving only this violent yet beautiful gas giant, like a god that does not need human existence, ruling over the deep void. Jupiter makes us understand. that behind the romance of the universe often lies deadly cruelty. Humanity's spirit of exploration is admirable, but we must also maintain awe for nature. After watching this suicidal probe mission in its entirety, what is your impression of Jupiter? Has it completely subverted your views? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments.